You're probably wondering if a clothing brand is the right business for you since you clicked on this video. A clothing brand has a lot of benefits, but it does have its drawbacks too. By the end of this video, you will know if a clothing brand is the right business for you. Let's start off with the pros of owning a clothing brand. A clothing brand can open doors for many opportunities. An example would be this YouTube channel. I had a clothing brand first, then I realized I could also do YouTube about my clothing brand journey. I created this YouTube and have been able to grow my audience further. Another example would be the network you start to have after your clothing brand starts to do numbers. This brand, PLN, got Playboi Carti in their brand, which you know is going to drive them sales and traffic. Networking with other clothing brand owners can also help because you have someone else that is doing the same thing and someone you can talk to, and y'all can help each other out. Collabs are another thing that you can do that would be beneficial for your clothing brand, and you would be exposed to another audience. Granted, this is after you have gained some traction with your brand, but these are just some of the opportunities that are possible when you have a clothing brand. Another pro is that you can build your personal brand alongside your clothing brand, which could lead to faster growth because you are gaining different audiences on both pages and on other platforms. But they will overlap each other. Like this YouTube channel has a different audience than my clothing brand Instagram. But there are some that overlap, leading to growth in both places. So if y'all posting fashion content on your personal Instagram, the audience you gain from that are interested in fashion and might follow your clothing brand too if they like it, or if they want to support it, and vice versa. If someone follows your clothing brand, they might be interested in the person behind the clothing brand as well, leading to people follow your personal account too. All of these social media platforms can work together for you, but I still recommend focusing on one and distributing content to other platforms. So if your main focus is TikTok, make TikTok content, make content for TikTok, but repurpose this content and put it on other platforms too. Another pro is that of most online businesses, and that's that you can work from anywhere and be your own boss. And this business has a low startup cost and a low barrier to entry, which is a good and a bad thing, but I'll put it as a pro. The easier it is to start a business, the more competition it will be. But a lot of clothing brands are copy and paste and they don't last long. A lot of people give up after a few months. There's still competition, but there's a lot of bad competition too. This is an example of Sturgeon's Law. 90% of everything is crap. This applies to most things in life. Think about YouTube. According to different sources, there's only 5 to 8% of YouTube channels that are monetized out of the millions of YouTube channels. A lot of these channels only posted a few videos or gave up early. I believe the difference between people who fail and people who succeed most of the time is those who keep trying and keep pushing and don't give up, and those who do give up. Steve Jobs believed this is the case too.
A lot of people come to me and they say, well, I want to be an entrepreneur. And I go, oh, that's great. What's your idea? And they go, well, I don't have one yet. And I say, well, I think you should go get a job as a busboy or something until you find something you're really passionate about, because it's a lot of work. And I'm convinced that about half of what separates the successful entrepreneurs from the non-successful ones is pure perseverance. It is so hard. You pour so much of your life into this thing. There are such rough moments in time that most people give up. I don't blame them. I mean, it's really tough, and it consumes your life. If you've got a family and you're in the early days of a company, I can't imagine how one could do it. I'm sure it's been done, but it's rough. I mean, because it's pretty much an 18-hour-a-day job, 7 days a week for a while. So unless you have a lot of passion about this, you're going to not survive. You're going to give it up. So you got to have an idea or a problem or a wrong that you want to right that you're passionate about. Otherwise, you're not going to have the perseverance to stick it through. And I think that's half the battle right there.
Clothing brand owners, like most business owners, when they first start out, go through the Dunning-Kruger effect. They start with high confidence yet low knowledge and are at the peak enthusiasm, excited to start their clothing brand and drop. Then they start to learn more about it, and as their knowledge goes up, their confidence goes back down. This is called the valley of despair. Maybe their drop didn't sell out, maybe they didn't get any sales, maybe their TikTok and Instagram isn't getting any traction. This is when most give up and quit. Then they start another business, like day trading. They feel good at first watching a few YouTube videos, then they hit the valley of despair again. Then they start over and try something else. And they do this over and over and over again and never succeed. But for those who stay the course, they get to the slope of enlightenment. Their knowledge grows and their confidence goes back up as they start to see some results and they start to figure it out. Then they hit the plateau of sustainability. Don't let this graph fool you though. This isn't a quick process. On the graph, it looks simple, but there's a lot of trial and error that goes into this, and it could take years to reach the plateau of sustainability. Some will take longer, some will get there quicker. Don't compare yourself to nobody, you are on your own journey. Another pro, and the biggest pro in my opinion, is you can do something that you actually enjoy. I think this is what most people want. They want to do what they want to do. I don't believe most people don't want to work. I believe most people want to work on what they want to work, doing something that they love to do, but want to do it at a high level when they first start out. A lot of people want to do YouTube, but don't want to put in the work in the beginning when you aren't getting paid. The problem is people want their businesses or side hustles or whatever you want to call it to be like a job, where you come in and do the work and you know you're getting paid this amount on Friday. That's not how entrepreneurship works. You need to find something that you would do for free and monetize it. I genuinely like working on my clothing brand and improving it 1% every day. I would do this for free, and I did this before I dropped. Monetize what you love to do and things that you would do even if you weren't getting paid. Granted, I probably wouldn't have put in the same amount of time if there was no potential to monetize and it was solely a hobby, but since there is, then I put in the long hours to build, and I'm still doing this to this day.
To this day! To this day! To this day!
If fashion is something you want to do and something you have a genuine interest in and can see yourself doing this for years to come, then I think this pro outweighs all of the cons I'm going to mention. But it's important to know the cons and know what you're getting into. It's not always going to be sunshine. Remember, this is a business, and business is hard. But if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. The hardest things in life are typically the most rewarding and the most worth it. Now the cons. First con isn't really a con, but I want to say this anyway. You need to have some type of passion or genuine interest in fashion for this to work. This isn't like drop shipping or an Etsy type clothing brand where you cannot have any passion or interest, like if you're drop shipping dog toys or something. I'm not saying you need to be emotionally attached to your business, because I think you should always be logical when it comes to business. But if you are just starting out with no connections, no following, then you need to have a genuine interest for this to work. This isn't an easy business. Which leads me to my second con, and that is turnaround time. When you run a pre-order for your clothing brand, you have to wait about 2 months before you can start shipping your orders out and start your next drop, unless you do pre-made. This is one of my biggest pet peeves about the business, but I know that it takes time to make clothes and I want my clothes to be high quality. But the wait after the pre-order is a weird position to be in. You can't drop anything else because people still haven't gotten their order from before. You technically can, but I personally don't want to do that. The wait in between drops is a small con. The third con is bad manufacturers. I haven't had a bad manufacturer or been scammed, but I've heard a lot of stories of people getting scammed for their whole pre-order, or the book wasn't the same quality as the sample, and that could turn your business upside down. Something like that could take you from profitable to not profitable, especially if you get scammed and receive nothing. So be careful working with these manufacturers. Another con is the oversaturated market, but I will argue most markets are saturated, but clothing brands are definitely one of them. So you need to be creative and don't just copy other brands you see. This doesn't work. People have caught on. Be yourself and be creative and make something unique. The real competitors are the big brands like Nike, Stussy, Supreme, and others. These are the brands that are taking most of the market share and have the most trust with similar, if not the same audience you are trying to sell to. This is why you need a unique selling proposition for your clothing brand to stand out from the rest. This last con is similar to other businesses, and that is the time and money that will be needed to make this business work. You don't need much money to get started, and you can just do organic content, so money isn't the biggest issue. But for people that have money to start, they have an advantage over those who don't, just being honest. You will have to put in the hours to make this successful. You will be everybody for your business starting out. Unless you have a business partner or someone that can help you. You will be the photographer, the designer, the social media manager, you name it, you will be doing it. Unless you outsource these things, but this will cost you money, so it depends on your situation. This is like any other business. You will have to learn some more until you succeed. And even after you succeed, you have to keep learning to keep your success. You will have to take L's to get W's. You will have to use trial and error to succeed. This is nothing new, but it is something that must be said. There will be times of stress. There will be times where you feel lost and don't know what to do, but if you keep pushing and keep learning, you will get through it. Some of you are still determined to start a clothing brand, and some of you are more hesitant now after watching this video. But no matter which path you take in life, if you want to succeed in anything, it will take time and hard work, no matter what you are trying to do, especially business. So give it all you got and don't give up and believe in yourself. You'd be surprised at how far that will get you.
It was a terrible live performer in the beginning. My first show, I forgot the lyrics. You have to have such a strong belief in yourself that you can quiet out all the outside noise, because you're gonna need that on every step of the way. You know, there are people that are projecting their fears and their shortcomings and failures on you. And you have to be very careful, you know, with that. People telling you can't do that. Why can't I? You know, because they may have tried, or they don't believe that they can do it. And it's not really about you, it's about what they feel and their fear inside. So you have to be strong enough and resilient to believe in whatever it is you're trying to do. And, you know, good luck with it.
Thank you for watching this video. Follow my clothing brand on Instagram and subscribe to the channel, and like the video if you learned something new.